you are watching or listening to Jade Emerald Green. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow so that you are staying connected with the daily content arrivals that are made just for you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Today is Sunday, June 29th, 2025. This is the daily collective tarot and oracle reading on Jade Emerald Green. Okay, so Mercury and Pluto is acting up. I don't know how else to really say it. So this is my third take. I'm trying to get this done. First take, I kept coughing. Second take, I had a friend call and I had to talk to her. We're on way different time zones. But it was really good speaking with her. And I am doing this take now in an effort to make sure that this gets done today so that you all have something to analyze and just listen to as we are wrapping up June, going into July. June was crazy. July is going to be wow. Why? Who, what, when, where, and why. You're going to be doing a lot of that coming up. And I will be releasing a forecast reading for July. So be on the lookout for that in the coming day, or by tomorrow. I would imagine it should be done. So if this is your first time, how I do the tarot and oracle reads, given that it's the third take, I had already flipped over the cards. Usually I shuffle the cards. I wait to flip them over until I'm recording this for you all. And we ask for our tarot portion of the reading. We ask about 6 questions. It's a basically a situation, action, outcome spread for those who are more familiar, but it is expanded and stylized. So after we do the tarot reading, then we move on into our oracle pulls. I work from about 7 to 8 decks for any given daily read so that we can have a balance and more context and different ways of having what the collective message is relates to us. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. What the fuck are you doing here? We have the star. This is our situation here. This is where the spiritual meets the physical world. The star is the embodiment of both worlds coming into one. Our materialization card, if you will. So this is the time to rise to the occasion. Now, in the order of the major arcana, which is the major storyline that is told through the cards of tarot, through the experience of the Fool, which is our very first card, the star comes after the Tower. So if anyone knows the Tower is a dreaded card that comes up often because its imagery is just so dramatic and daunting. I'm going to see if I can try to quickly find the Tower here. But basically, with the Tower, it is indicative of a fall from grace, or a fall of some sort. Loss is usually what's associated with the Tower. And I don't know, humanity in general just does not like to lose, right? So what's the benefit in losing? So this is the Fool. This is now this is a stylized tarot deck. It's not the traditional deck that I work from either. But yes, this is the Fool. So this is any deck starts off with the Fool. You see, it's all la 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 la. I'm going to go play in the grass or somewhere with my dog. You on a journey. I'm going to go on this journey. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. So, that's how things get started, right? How it started versus how it's going. Okay, so it seems like the Tower was at the very top of this deck somewhere. Yes. It was like the 5th card in. So then this is the Tower. So like how it started versus how it's going looks very different, right? So why the fuck would we start on a journey knowing we're gonna encounter this, right? Well, it is because after the fall. Oh, also this specific iteration of the Tower does not show 2 people falling, but you could tell it's a motherfucking apartment complex. Niggas dying up in the apartment complex, okay? Like, it's not looking good. But there is nothing that is worth having that was without a great challenge. So that is with, you get what I'm saying? Like, you can't earn shit unless you go do the things you need to go through in order to earn it and to attain the status of the star. So understanding that we are at a point of, trying to receive the message, so to speak, of like, okay, what is Spirit saying to me about how I need to navigate in this world based off of my abilities, based off of what I've now learned, based off of the challenges in which I have endured. What is Spirit telling me I should do with these things now? So if you know the phrase, like, we're all stardust, like that, I mean, that's true. We are all stardust. We all come, our body is made up of the same contents and things that make up stars. Like, if you think of like the chemical, I guess why I'm struggling to say this is that while I know this, I'm also not the best at like explaining things that are in the realm of chemistry. So, I need a actual like scientist. I need my brother for that, but yes, everything that we're made of, you can find it in the universe. So be the star here. How do we honor our stardom, so to speak? And I don't mean it in a superficial sense. That goes with what the fuck are we what are we doing? Like, yeah, what the fuck are we doing about this? We have the Wheel of Fortune, right? So Wheel of Fortune symbolizes taking a chance, being not resistant to change, allowing for change to occur. It represents our comfort zone, getting out of it, right? So we have to have those uncomfortable things. It's a more muted way of saying, like, hey, you can't have these things without going through great struggle. You cannot have these great things without going through great struggle. It's a more muted way of like explaining the Tower, but also framing it in like, where there's, when you spin the wheel, there's risk, but there's always opportunity, right? It goes back to that, like, just think of the Wheel of Fortune, like the literal, like, Pat Sajak. Like, I'm always gonna come back to that because it's just a great way of describing like what it is. Everybody, you have an opportunity to take a chance or take a risk, but even if you take the risk and the risk does not bring the immediate reward that you seek, you're always going to gain something from that. You're always going to obtain more knowledge, obtain more wisdom as to how to navigate. That's how people learn, is through trial and error. That's how we are able to grow. And that's why we are honoring our stardom, if you will, by taking those chances, allowing for change to happen. Because, like, you could have stayed your ass at home and could have been fine as you were, but you wouldn't have grown. You wouldn't have matured. So, yeah, Wheel of Fortune is important, especially as a mechanism when we're asking the question, what the fuck are we supposed to do about this? The thing that we're, our situation. What are we supposed to do? What not to do, in this case, is the 6 of Swords here. Where's the fuckery? It is an escapism. It is instead of making a choice or allowing for change to happen, it is seeking to run away from one's problems. It's important that we know that while the Six of Swords is in its exalted, I can't speak, exalted aspect, I call it the ship to cross the sea of suffering. The ship to cross the sea of suffering. A lot of S's right there. You're not seeing, I'll bring it back up. Because even though this is like from a side angle, you're still not seeing anyone's face in this. That means like we're moving on. We're going supposedly to greener pastures. But in this position, and where's the fuckery? No, we need to stay here. There's something else that we need to learn. We need to not cross the sea just yet, so that we can get everything that we need to get by allowing for change, so we make room to, exude our stardom. So then we need to ask about the outcomes. So what happens when we do what the fuck we're supposed to do? We have the Page of Wands. So allowing for change creates ideas. It creates spark. It creates the potentiality for great things to come that are in alignment with what we're passionate about. Truly. Page energy is like, it's still very young. It's still very malleable in that sense of like, okay, I'm formulating an idea. How do I execute that idea? Essentially. So it's like, yeah, you got to make a lot of room for those new ideas to come about, because now that you've gone and you've received the experience, now you're like, okay, I'm experiencing in this area of life, this, and gaining this wisdom of how do I navigate for myself. But now how am I going to use what I have learned to start something new? So whenever you start something new, when something is very early in its creation, you're going to be open to a lot of possibilities, but then there's going to be a process of refinement. And the Page of Wands is always, gotta turn into the Knight of Wands, gotta turn into the Queen of Wands, gotta turn into the King of Wands, that mastery. But it starts with the spark, and Page of Wands is that spark. So what happens when we engage in the action that we should avoid? Basically, if we engage in the fuckery right now, our realm of escapism, then we end up finding ourselves trying to grasp for control of our lives, like micromanaging, putting too much on ourselves, because the escapism took us further away from being where we needed to be to have that spark, to have that new project. We're still thinking about old ideas. We're still stuck in the past. We're still thinking about things that aren't serving us. And we're still holding on to. We're juggling it. We're juggling all those things. So, Six of Swords, not in the best position right now, leading to the Two of Pentacles, also not in the best outcome. Sometimes you want to open your hands and let things go so new things can come in, right? Why have 2 pentacles when you can have more? Okay, so our clarifier today is the Emperor. This is the 3rd major arcana in our reading for today, after the Star and the Wheel of Fortune. So this is about structure, like refining. Like, we need to recognize that we do have what it takes to be in alignment with our purpose, but it requires structure. We can have that creative spark, but it requires some regulation. Being the Emperor, being the lead of your own project or pursuit of anything, being the lead in anything requires taking no shit. For one, it just, like, what I'm getting here is based off of the imagery. Like, in order to have I don't even want to say empire, because I'm not, like, I don't fuck with imperialism, but to have the land in which you seek, or the group in which you seek, the project in which you seek to expand, you gotta set down some ground rules. So doing that for ourselves is important, because we have to allow this Page of Wands energy to kind of have some direction. Like having all this passion and spark with no, like clear path, then it just becomes a bit messy. Like it becomes, it just becomes a situation that has no structure. And when things aren't structured, then, things can become lopsided. And then what became once was your passion, you become no longer passionate about, because it becomes overwhelming, and it becomes harder to, clear out the mess the longer it goes. Okay, so moving into our oracle pulls here, we have, sorry, I'm using my left shoulder, and that's not good. I've been injured since March, and I'm just now discovering K-tape, and it's been doing a wonder for myself since that point. But intuition and comfort. Yeah. I think everything about these collective reads is going to go back to intuition, and how are you enhancing your own level of intuition. I know for me, it's in the practice of clearing out things that are distracting for me, and getting back to like what centers me, what's my purpose, and centering myself around that. So yes, we need to be utilizing our intuition in order to get to our star energy. We got to cut off the fat though. Being comfortable is important. Being comfortable is very important. You want to feel like you can accomplish the things you are setting forth in your life. But the flip side of that, when we think about the Wheel of Fortune, is like complacency is the shadow side of comfort. So our Wheel of Fortune is here today so that we can make room for continuing our level of comfort that's healthy without becoming complacent. Expanding what our comfort zone looks like without, removing ourselves from the core of who we are. I'm sorry if it's been, I think this past couple of days I've been like umming a lot, and it's been hard for me to speak. I think that it just speaks to the challenges that we face right now in these transits and with our individual lives. Moving on to our Celebrity Spirit Oracle, we have Doris Day, legendary. I remember her in like several of like older films. I can't recall them, but just like very much a smile. Since working with this deck and learning just more about her campaigns, her causes, her charitable causes, if you will, for the things she cared about, like like she was big on animals' rights. Animals are a man's best friend. She was really big. Try this again. She was really big on making sure that the rights of animals were protected, right? And I take her pull in today's reading to, kind of ask, like, at what point are you caring for the most vulnerable amongst you? You get what I'm saying? Like, what are the ways in which we can enhance doing that? The most vulnerable amongst us, both animals and humans, like, how can we be more outside of ourselves so that we can look out for the others that are struggling? Is essentially what I'm getting at. Like, this is like a we, not me type of card, for sure. So that's something that I think is important, because especially like our situation with the star is a very important mission that we need to, take on, energy that we need to take. But we also don't want to become so tunnel visioned about what our purpose is that we forget that other people need to come with us along the way. We need to help them in any way that we can, within our capacity. Moving on into what's the tea? Cock blocking. So I don't take this to mean merely the literal act of cock blocking. Who's trying to block your blessings? Are you in your own way of blocking your own blessings? Like, there's still an active antagonistic force that I feel like is around the collective. You know, humanity versus destruction, life versus death, peace versus war. Like, someone's trying to block the collective and our further expansion and progression. And sometimes it's some of them are amongst us. You get what I'm saying? So as you are honing in on what your regulations are going to be for honoring your stardom, do it this way. Yeah. Watch out for fucking cock blockers, bruh. They mean you know well. And as a collective, we have to find a way to stop anyone who's trying to stop us progressing. Period. Like, there's too much at stake right now, especially with the upcoming transit that I'll be getting more so into for the monthly forecast. Like, there's just too much at stake. So we have to lay down the gauntlet in the humane way. You know, lay down the gauntlet so that we can protect our path. And coinciding with that cock blocking energy, we got snoopers. Yeah, we got snoopers. You know, I think this is another card that's come up frequently in our readings here. It is very apparent that we may have, like, what do they call them? Like, silent sitters, like people who don't engage but will, like, watch, you know, just because they want to see what you're doing, gathering information and things of the nature. So this one goes, if for those who, if this is your first time watching, it goes drive-by, stalking, social media, psychic, tarot readings. So, like, yeah, don't be using me. You know, snooping is, I don't know, generally whack. People sometimes use it for protection, but, like, I think in the context of this read, because it's come up several times, and it seems like we you know, despite the cock blocking, despite the snooping, we're still coming up into our expansive era. Despite all this shit, right? We still got this going on. We still have major things going on. So it's not that these things are going to stop it. It's just, you know, people may attempt to distract you. People may even attempt to attack you. You know, they don't want to see you move forward. Some people are very committed to an outdated version of yourself, or a mischaracterized version of yourself, you know? And I don't know. The energy is, like, particularly heavy in this read, but it is showing things that, you know, I feel are like, it's balancing. It's heavy, but we're trying to balance it out, you know, by utilizing our higher self now. This is like that higher octane self, you know, going from the Fool to the Star, as we previously talked about. So that's still important. And cock blocking, I mean, literally, this could just literally mean nigga cock blocking you, you know, from whoever you like or things like that, you know. And I say that because our dark confessions today, I am seeing someone, but I am not ready for you to know about them yet. I can read backwards a little bit better now. Hey. Yeah. If you're in this situation, like, fuck that fool. Like, if you got one person cock blocking you and the other person is, like, in cahoots with them because they want to be with them, let them motherfuckers go. What the fuck are you doing? You are a star. Like, leave that shit alone, fam. You know, some people are just, like, some people can fool you. Some people can fool you. For real. Some people can, like, because, I don't know, the desire to be desired is a sign of insecurity. It is a sign that this person does not know how to love, right? It's a sign of narcissism. Conversely, it's also a sign of codependency, the desire to be desired. Some people don't always necessarily want you, but they want you to desire them. And that is like, I mean, of course, whack, but I think we all have navigated in that kind of way at one point or another, especially as like if you're like younger and in love, you know, when you think about like earlier boyfriends, girlfriends, they friends that didn't work out, you know, like, and you think about why, you know, lack of compatibility, you know, a lot of the times it's like we get with people because they want us, as opposed to like asking what do we really want. It's just a desire to be desired. If this is you in any kind of way, then I mean, to just to say like to stop it is one thing, but to like really like I guess I would challenge you to analyze why you feel like you need to be desired in order to feel valuable. Like you are already inherently valuable. Inherently valuable. You don't have to do anything but honor it and set some boundaries. Right? You don't have to do anything but that. And the right person or people will come along. I think this angel one is really cool. Call upon Shamuel for relationship help and healing, for she is the angel. He teaches us about pure unconditional love and forgiveness. She connects with you through the number 777, auras of pink light, pink flowers, hearts, and rose quartz. So I got one right here. So your angels are calling you. This is definitely seeming like a thread of love today, a spread of love today. Yeah. There's going to be the right person out there for you. Or the right people. I'm sorry. I'm just saying that as someone who's solely poly, like like, okay. You know, there is compatibility out there. There is compatibility mixed with right timing, mixed with right chemistry out there for people. Sometimes it's like amazing chemistry, horrible timing. Sometimes the timing is not necessarily bad, but the chemistry doesn't turn out to be how you think it's turning out to be. Or like, you know, compatibility is not there, even though the timing there and his chemistry is there. You know, like between those three factors, you know, you can get one right and two wrong, two right and one wrong, and can destroy the you know, whole thing. Or we can take the times until we find the person or people that make all three right. Yeah, this is the reading today, but we still have our timing oracle to do. So what is the question here today? When will the cock block be lifted? Okay. I don't know. I like to be cute and funny sometimes. When will the cock block be lifted? You know what? Here. No, that shuffle was a dud. When will the cock block be lifted? Lift the embargo and lift the cock block. Viva la Cuba. Alright, I think one more. I was so close to not dropping anything. I need another table. I will be getting one soon that will be this, because what I want to do, I want to have like 2 camera angles, like one facing me and then one facing directly down for the cards, you know, like aerial angle. Alrighty. When will the cock block be lifted? Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Tomorrow looks promising. So what I take this to mean, because we are, you know, this is a collective read. We're not just talking about one thing. Romance is a very important aspect, but cock blocking is any blocking of anyone's blessings. Tomorrow looks promising. I take that to mean that we don't necessarily have to wait on somebody else to like stop being a cock blocker. You get what I'm saying? If it matters and what we're dealing with, sometimes when we're allowing for change, the change that we're allowing for is a shift in our perspective, right? A cock blocker won't fucking matter if you're not putting energy into someone who's not deserving, right? Or some situation that's not deserving of your time. A cock blocker won't even fucking matter. You can move around and be like, okay, bitch, bye. Like, I don't know. Everything is about what we make it to be. Ultimately is what I'm getting, is the larger message from this read today. Everything is what we make it to be. So anything that you do, just know that you are a star. Okay? You're gonna go through some crazy things to become a star, but that doesn't take away from your value. It doesn't take away from your abilities, and it doesn't take away from your opportunities to help yourself and help other people around you. You just have to take that chance. You have to allow for change, okay? Alrighty, so thank you again for coming to the Daily Tarot and Oracle reading on Jade Emerald Green. I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.